love you almost.
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
So, aside from this mishap of trying to get this thing lined up yesterday, it gave me a little bit more time to listen to the record, which is great. I guess you formed the band back in 2007, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Way back in 2007. Yeah. Would have been a long time ago. See, when you scroll back, when you're doing anything, when you're putting any information about the band, you scroll back to 2007. Jesus Christ, that's so long ago,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I guess give me a little bit of background history, because really, Purpendicular really is a new thing for me. I didn't even know you guys existed.
I didn't know we existed either.
But great stuff happening there.
Cheers, man.
Musically. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did you guys initially start as a Purple tribute band, or is that incorrect?
No, well, how do I make it easy? All them years ago, we had an original band. It was under a different name, and we realized we couldn't pay the bills with it, Ruben. We couldn't. It was just so tough. So we all sat around and said, "Well, what are we going to do here?" So I was working in a bar at the time to pay the rent and stuff, and we just decided, right, well, who do we like when we just don't want to do a covers band thing? If you do that, you never get paid. Well, you will get paid, but we didn't want to be background musicians for weddings and stuff. We didn't want to go down that avenue, obviously. So we said, right, well, what bands do we like? We could do a kind of a tribute thing that we would get paid properly, So we all agreed on Purple. I had Purple records when I was a kid, and the other lads did. And we realized that we'd have a freedom in that music to express ourselves. We wouldn't just copy. That was the main thing. What we said, Ruben, we're not going to copy, because there's so many copy bands. It becomes a parody. It becomes a more of a like a circus kind of a thing. And you're dressing up like them and stuff.
Right.
And, especially in this day and age. So we just wanted to take the music and not copy. We just wanted to take the Purple tracks and tour Europe. And my God, we were busy them earlier to do a lot. We did a lot of groundwork in them early years. We were length and breadth of Europe. Yeah, it was pretty busy back then. Yeah, so basically that's the foundation. We never wanted to copy. We said we got to put our own stamp on it. Right. It was only in the latter years where we started saying, you know what, we should start writing our own album. So we still have this bloody tribute thing hanging around our necks, right. But Ruben, we can do nothing about it. It is what it is. So.
Well, the sound definitely has a Purple influence to it. Now,
it has a Purple vibe, obviously, yeah. But there's a lot of influence in there, Ruben. There's a lot of disco stuff in there, a lot of soul, and for the last, I hardly listen to rock and roll at home. I used to a lot, but I used to George Michael lately. Yeah, our fans will string me for that one. A lot of chic, a lot of disco music, and I listen to everything actually. Even Kenny Rogers.
Oh, nice. Well, out of curiosity, though, because I was going to ask you about influence. Obviously, you just covered a bunch of stuff, pretty eclectic. But one of the things I hear in there is some Nazareth. I don't know if you're a Nazareth fan, but it definitely creeps into some of that Purple stuff, breaks right through.
Unless it's Jesus of Nazareth you're talking about. I don't know much about Nazareth, mate.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. That's cool, though. Yeah,
I probably missed that. You see, when I was growing up, my dad had Deep Purple and rock. He had Cream, what was that? Wheels of Fire, I think it was. He had Fleetwood Mac, Rumors, Led Zeppelin 2. So I obviously no pocket money or money when I was growing up, so I just played these records over and over again. So that was my kind of introduction to this kind of music, and I love this kind of music. I started off being a real big Pink Floyd fan, still am. Mm-hmm. But when I heard Purple and the more heavier stuff, Zeppelin, it kind of turned my head a little bit. Yeah.
Right.
But Nazareth, I don't know much about them, mate. I'm sorry about that.
Okay. No, not a problem. I'm just saying that I kind of hear some of that happening there in the tunes. But
there's so much in there. There's Ever Simple Minds. There's everything. There's so many influences. We make it a thing where we say, look, this is not going to be a template of Deep Purple. It can't be, right. Because you're degrading yourself basically.
Sure.
Purple are amazing. There's only one Purple, by the way. You can't be a second Purple.
Yeah, right. I guess the next thing I need to ask you about is Perpendicular. Obviously, it's a Purple album title. It's a Steve Morse era Purple
That's right.
album title. I mean, how did you land on that? How did you decide that that was going to be the name going forward?
I think it was, yeah, October 2007. I was in bed one night. And it came to me when I woke up, middle of the night. I said, "Oh, I've got a good title, Perpendicular," because we were, even though we didn't want to copy, we definitely didn't want to, because there's so many bands doing the Blackmore thing,
Right?
and we said, "Look, if we go in that angle, we're not doing anything different. We're just copying." And then it becomes you get put in a hat, basically, and it's difficult. So we said, look, we'll take it from a more Satriani or a Morse kind of a thing. So on purpose, we called it Perpendicular, but we didn't know at that time we would be doing original stuff later on down the road. We didn't know. So the name is what it is. So it doesn't matter. I mean, it's fine for us.
Right. And it kind of stuck and you went with it, right? Moving forward.
Yeah, we have choice now,
Well, and
if you change the name now, come on, you got to start from the start again. Nobody will know, all the groundwork will be ruined,
Sure. Tell me how you got Ian involved in the band, because he wasn't originally involved with you guys, and then he became part of the band. Is that right?
Yeah, but well, basically, recently the touring is more incessant with Ian, and but Deep Purple are not slowing up any,
Yeah.
But he's cramming in the dates. He's playing like a monster. He's playing fantastic at the moment, and everybody say, well, it's not 1972. It doesn't have to be, because he's brought the instruments closer to him, and he's able to play without absolutely going crazy like he used to in the 70s. He can still do it, but it's more controlled, more close to him, if you know what I'm saying.
Sure.
But getting back to the original question, well, we were introduced. I met Ian first in, where the hell was it? In Manchester Apollo, I think, in 1996. I think it was. Oh my God, I can't remember. I'm getting old, man. And we were introduced in Austria in 2002, I think it was. Wow. And we started, we became good pals then our second day. And over the years, we used to do small tours. I mean, you're talking about 10 to 15 shows. And then it got more and more and more, and we became great pals. We dine a lot together. In fact, his wife was getting worried at one point. But yeah, we do a lot of dining together. We love football. We love talking about good beers, and we've got a lot in common, same humor. So he's a really easy guy, and he's great to have on stage. Obviously, everybody raises their game when they've got somebody like Ian in the band. Yeah, over the last few years, we started to do more and more, and because we had the Deep Purple were calling them, they had a tour called The Long Goodbye, and we didn't know how that was going to pan out. So Ian was booking more and more shows with us. So we didn't have so much of we don't have another drummer. Ian is our fixed drummer at the moment. So, and that's how it is. Hence he played this time the whole record, where before he would just do probably one or two guest tracks. So on this album, he features on all the tracks. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And he's a funny guy, man. He's a really funny guy. You would love it.
That's awesome. Well, you have the new record, Human Mechanic, and that's coming out September 23rd, which is, it's going to be here sooner than later. I mean, the way that this year's been, well, actually all these years, even despite the whole COVID thing, it seems like time keeps moving, and even
it does. It's going quick. It's amazing.
So, I mean, I guess I'll just throw out a few song titles. I mean, these are the tunes that I really enjoy at the moment. Nothing But Ghosts, Something Magical is actually probably my current favorite. And then obviously the title track, Human Mechanic. A lot of, again, like you said, Purple influence and a little then some in there. How did you guys, I guess, go about selecting the tunes that were going to make this record? Because I'm sure you probably had amassed quite a few during this whole COVID thing, huh?
Well, during the COVID was, you know, it's important that everybody takes a positive from a negative, and it gave us time because we were constantly working on the road, and we didn't get a chance to sit down and think, hey, how are we going to work this, you know? So basically, the Human Mechanic was born out of, well, we started to write it in 2020, and then we had all these little kind of grooves that we'd make up and sound check. So we collected all these little grooves that were perfect for Ian, the way Ian plays, which is, you know, he's totally original sound. You know, it's Ian Paice when he hits the drums, but he plays with this great swing, so we wanted to put a kind of a disco feel on it, you know, just something different. And Herb, the guitar player who worked on the previous record with us, Venus to Volcanus, he had a few riffs that he said, look, this is perfect for Purpendicular, what you think? And if we take, for example, the Nothing Box, which is a is a funny story. Myself and Ian, we arrived one very hot day in Linz in Austria, and we decided, you know, we go for one beer. I mean, one beer is a very dangerous word because it's never true. You know, it's always. But on this occasion, we walked down the town. We found this lovely little bar, and we went in and we said, Brian, we ordered 2 beautiful beers, and we noticed as we were drinking them, we weren't stopping. It was a good pour, good temperature, and we kept going, you know. And then halfway down, the first topic was about the Nothing Box. And the Nothing Box is actually about, without sounding sexist or anything, it's about women's brains and men's brains.
Right.
And women's brains are all connected. They have these little boxes everywhere, and they're all connected with wires and going crazy with planning and stuff. Where a man's his boxes are very simple. Some of them are empty, so, you know. And there's one in the middle. There's one in the middle called the Nothing Box, where men go to daydream. We just do nothing. We just sit in that, and we can disappear. And women hate this box because they don't have one, you know. And we heard this little story from a comedian, but I can't remember his name right now.
Right.
But I remember we had a good little laugh about it anyway, you know. But and it was funny, just at the end of that joke, I think his wife called him on the telephone. So, yeah, it was funny. So that was the Nothing Box. I wrote a little story around it, and Herb come up with that great riff. He had that riff since 2002. Oh, we had it earlier, maybe 2019.
Oh, wow.
We didn't. Yeah. And we said, look, we keep that, but we wanted to keep it for the right theme, the right lyric, and the right story. So it worked well. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it, actually.
Wow,
yeah.
That's awesome. What's the story behind Something Magical? Because again, that's my current favorite tune, and there's a lot of them on this record.
Oh, well, Something Magical is my daughter's favorite song. She's always singing it in the back of the car, you know.
Nice.
You know, so that's always good if you got a 7-year-old that's starting to remember, you know. So well, maybe we're onto something there. But Something Magical was I heard a song by Wang Chung, that lovely groove, dancehall days back in the 80s.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yes,
and it got that lovely little groove. And I said, I'd love Ian to play something like that. You know, and gave it to him, and he said, that's great, mate. And he bashed it out lovely, you know. And the song is basically about a single guy. It's not particularly anybody that I know, just in general, wishing that he could meet the perfect partner. Now, it could be a girl as well. It could be, you know, it's for anybody. Anybody can hang their own hook on it and make it their own, basically. But I had this thing of a guy just wishing, oh God, wouldn't it be nice, you know, if I could just meet that person and everything would be just great, you know, and it'd be something magical, you know. But and then you realize at the end of the second verse, you know what, I'm sipping a beer here. I don't have anybody telling me to hang clothes. I don't have anybody telling me to paint the house on Monday. So actually, I'm be happy, you know. So that's that's what it's basically about. It's just a little fun thing about relationships, you know.
Sure. And you're
But
right.
it's all under the one nut, the human mechanic, and the human mechanic basically was. Wouldn't it be lovely? Because you know you have so many atrocities in the world right now with depression and people not speaking up, and you know yourself, Ruben. You know the main theme of the human mechanic was, wouldn't it be lovely if you could, like an egg, take the top off somebody's head? No, because psychologists and psychiatrics, it doesn't work enough. I know they do an amazing job, and they have a rough job. But if you could take the top off somebody's head and just say, oh yeah, you need a fan belt there, you need a couple of screws there, and you're going to be all right, mate. You know.
Sure. Yeah. You're right.
That's the whole concept of the whole album and the human mechanic, I guess.
So you're saying that in a sense this is kind of loosely a collection of songs that make somewhat of a concept then.
Yeah, loose concept. Yeah, not a concept where we're going completely strictly on one. It's loose. It's loose.
Sure.
I'd say, yeah.
Nice.
Very loose.
Right. But you know, I think when you did add a couple different spins to the whole thing, because like we've been talking about, there is a huge Purple influence amongst some of the other stuff. You've been talking disco and pop and stuff like that. But you do have a piano ballad on there. So tell me about that one. And was there a person in mind that you had in mind when you wrote that?
Oh yeah, we did. We said, should we put a ballad on this? And Herb said, yeah, you know, and I had a word with Christoph, with Stuffy, our keyboard player, and he had a couple of ideas which are absolutely great. We didn't get time to finish them, which they could end up on the next one. But for this one, Herb had this really nice chord sequence with the piano and stuff like that. And I said, give me that idea. And I had it there. I said, just leave it with me for a while. And I happened to be looking, I don't know whether you watch the news. I've actually stopped watching the news because it is kind of depressing at the moment. But I remember this kid putting his hand to the glass on the train in Ukraine when he was leaving his father, because his father was staying, obviously, to fight. And the young kid would have been about, my God, 4 or 5, you know. And when you have kids on your own, you put yourself even worse. You know, you think of your own, obviously. Right. And I remember him putting his hand to the train as it was pulling out of the station on the glass, and his father put it on the other side of the glass to say goodbye. And as the lyrics say, you know, it's you're just fading out of memory, and you're fading into my memory. Sorry. Right. And that song is basically. You know, I think that's the best way to describe it. It's what makes you know, we all have love inside us, but we have a lot of hate as well, you know, and it's hard to beat the hate that's inside us. It's instilled in us. It's since probably man before time began, probably, you know.
Right.
And it's a very gentle ballad, you know. It's a gentle ballad.
Yeah, it definitely switches things up a little bit on the.
It does. We were conscious of the dynamics as well. We need to keep everything a little bit dynamically different as well. So it kind of brings the tone down before we get to the heavier stuff to see out the rest of the album. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys play around with the sequencing and put that in different versions of the sequence of the record, or did it just slot in right where you have it?
Do you know, we were going to close the album with that, and then Herb, I think it was Herb that said to me, let's go out on a happy note, you know. Sure. Let's not just, you know, it was actually my idea to put it last, and then Herb said to me, you know, let's bring it forward a couple of tracks earlier, and we can finish with something more heavier and upbeat. And I went along with that. I said, yeah, it's a good idea. It's a great idea.
Well, is there a chance that Herb was being, you know, a little maybe wanting to self-promote, because he did close out with an instrumental?
I never thought. No, he's not that kind of a guy. He's not that kind of a guy. You know. No, he's totally not. There's one thing I'll tell you about Herb.
Right.
Herb is a very funny character. You'd love him, Ruben. You know, everybody loves Herb. And he's a very, very good guitar player. And he's been hanging around the periphery of Purpendicular when we had other guitar players. And he waited for his time. And he's got better and better and better and better, especially in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one thing about Herb. He knows how a song works, and he knows when to shut up. I'm not talking about when talking, actually playing guitar. He knows when to shut up, because sometimes guitarists don't know when to stop. They don't know when to, hey, let the song sit, let it groove, you know. So he knows when to keep quiet, and he knows how to build these solos and stuff like that. And yeah, he's totally unselfish. He said, I think it was one of the songs, let's just have a keyboard solo in this, or let's just do a keyboard in the verses. Just let's have that beautiful Hammond, and you know, and I'll just do a little picking bits and stuff, you know. So no, other guitar players are different. They say, no, it's got to be guitar. It's guitar everywhere. Guitar on the walls, guitar in the fucking attic, everywhere, you know.
Nice. So yeah, you're right. So he's basically just you know, playing whatever the song requires then, pretty much, right?
Exactly. He knows, he listens to the song, what the mood. That's very good that you said that, Ruben. He listens to what the song needs. He listens to, it's important that you do what the song needs and not what you want to show off. Because, you know, there's only so many musicians in the world. I mean, the other 70% of the world, it goes over their head. They don't understand. So they need simplicity, I think. They need something melodic, something lyrical, something that they can relate to, feeling-wise. And if you got a guy there doing all this, I mean, it means nothing. It gets me crazy sometimes.
Right. Now, I've got a couple of other questions, and I'll cut you loose. Thank you for your time, and we'll definitely plug all the social media stuff, and you know, where people can get the record and all that stuff. But what's your favorite era of Purple? And you can't say the one with Ian Paice in it.
Well, he obviously has been with them all, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
Cover everything, right? I mean,
Jesus, you know, I don't know. I mean, when I was a kid and I heard Mark II for the first time, it blew my mind. There was nobody doing that. There was nobody doing stuff like that. You know, it was really heavy. But I started off being a drummer when I was young, up to the age of, I was a semi-pro. I used to play in little blues bands in Dublin and stuff like that in Ireland. And then I changed over to being a singer. So I was heavily influenced by Ian. So then early Mark II, there's an album called, let me think if I can remember the damn thing. Hang on. Scandinavian Nights.
Okay.
And I rate that over Machine Head. I heard Made in Japan.
In Japan, yeah.
I heard Made in Japan later, but if you listen to Scandinavian Nights, 1970 in Stockholm, that is something else. That is just musicians bouncing off each other, improvising, working it out on the spur of the moment. It's like a sporting event. It's just wonderful, you know. So anybody that wants to learn live music or to be expressive on stage in that improvisational capacity should really listen to that album. It is phenomenal.
Nice.
But I like the Mark III as well. Coverdale is amazing.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, because I would think that would slot right in there with some of your other influences, like you said, some soul and stuff like that.
Yeah. I prefer David when he was actually in Deep Purple Affair. His voice kind of changed his voice a little bit over the years, but now he's fantastic, wonderful, well, iconic. Yeah.
Nice. Here's a question for you guys, because I know you guys could do the Purple music probably spot on, but have you guys ever been approached to be kind of on deck in the event that something went down with the Purple guys, you know, like step in and take over for, you know, this case, you know, for whether it's Roger Glover, you know, any guys in the band, or, you know, obviously Ian's already in both bands, so you'd have to make
he is, isn't he?
But you know, in this age like COVID, it seems like there's always kind of somebody waiting in the wings to kind of step in the event that they need to fill in for a few shows. Have you ever been approached by the Purple guys to do that?
Not me personally. It wouldn't enter my mind. But Nick Fife, our bass player, he deputized for Roger. Roger had an operation on his shoulder a few years ago, and Nick played. Oh God, I don't know. I'd have to ask Nick. I think it was a 2-week tour or something like that with Purple. He filled in for them, and Nick obviously played with Jamiroquai before in Temperance Movement. So he's a great disco influence. Getting back to what we were previously saying, so, but he filled in. But the rest of us, no. I'd say that's a tough gig. That's like Premier League, you know. That's really. That's myself and Ian a couple of years ago. We did a pretty big show in Germany in the Schleierhalle, SVR in Germany. One that was about 12,000 tickets or something. That was an arena show, so we played it with the house band in there. So that was pretty cool. That was a cool event. So
okay, cool. Last question. What's a talent you have that isn't musical?
Oof. Oh, that's a good one. I used to be picking up women, but I haven't done that in 20 years. I love football. I'm a crazy football Queen's Park Rangers fan, and I love motor racing. I'm big into BMW motor racing, especially at the moment. But they'd be more hobbies, and I love cooking. So they've been my 3 hobbies. I wouldn't be able to be professional, I don't think. I mean, I didn't put enough effort into to find out. So, you know, I'm too late probably to take up anything like that professionally. So, but yeah, interesting question, Ruben. Interesting. Drinking, I'm good at drinking as well.
Oh, so there you go. Okay, well,
it's Ian Paice's fault. I mean, I normally I don't touch it, but Ian forces me, so I can do nothing about it. He had me choked one day. So you're going to drink this? Yes, Ian, I'm going to drink it.
Right. Hey, man. Hey, thank you for your time. I'm glad we're with those technical difficulties, and we're still having some because obviously we don't have video on my end, but we'll get the audio online.
I can't see you, so I don't know what you look like, Ruben, but you can see me.
Maybe that's for the best.
I was going to say you're a glutton for punishment if you can see me. You know?
Right. Well, we'll get this up online on knac.com. We'll get you guys links. Like I said, we'll plug all the social stuff, and we will definitely let people know where they can get the record. And thank you for your time, and hope to talk to you again.
You will, yeah. Anytime. Just drop a line with Nathan.
Okay.
And who set it up, and we'll be in touch.
All right.
And thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Be good. Take care of yourself and stay safe, man. Yeah.
Yeah, you too as well.
Be good. Take care. Peace.